YouTube, it's your boy FPL man, and I'm back here with a brand new video. Today I've got for you my Game Week 19 team review, as well as my Game Week 20 team selection and some potential transfer plans. I'm also going to be covering whether you should get double Arsenal defense or double Arsenal attack. We're also going to be looking at the best defense rotation, as well as RobTFPL's projected goals, as well as clean sheet for Game Week 20. I also have a surprise for you guys. Your boy is going to be showing you guys a Game Week 20 wildcard draft. As you guys know, we're in the second half of the season now, and we did get our second wildcard. And some of you may want to basically spice things up a bit and maybe change your structure and whatnot. And lastly, we'll be looking at best Cunha replacement. I know we already covered it. I'm still going to touch on it. So let's dive in. There's so much to talk about. So there you have it. Your boy had a big fat green arrow in Game Week 19. 16k in the world currently. My previous rank was 30k. Your boy almost half his rank. Big fat green arrow. Really pleased. We told the point of 92 points. It could have been even better if Gabriel and Rare kept a clean sheet. Unfortunately, due to Odegaard's mistake giving up the ball in midfield, they did consider a goal. And who else did score? None other than your boy and Beamer, who I did sell for Foden. And that ended up, being a bit of a sideways move. Ultimately, I did bring in Foden for, not just 1 week in a 4 stretch game. And I hopefully, he returned the favor. He did come up with a return. So really pleased with that at least. Although he didn't have the greatest performance, I mean, he shot from quite a bit of a low XG shot, and that rebounded off the keeper, and Savinho ended up scoring. It was quite fortunate, to be honest, but sometimes you need that bit of luck to go your way. And then obviously Mo Salah, Mr. Consistent. What can you say about him? A lot of people were talking about different captaincy, the likes of Haaland, Palmer, and whatnot. Your boy didn't even spend a second on it. Salah permacap. I didn't get much rank from it, but still, you gain some rank. So Mo Salah does his thing. He could have had actually 40 points that game. I mean, oh my goodness. Like, he came with only 3 returns. He should have had 5 returns. Trent was absolutely robbed. Trent has finally, Trent, he got his big haul. Shout out to him. Listen, I got him like 4 weeks ago. And finally, I've been waiting for that return, like that big haul. And he's got it. He had an assist as well as a goal. He could have easily had 30 points too. Salah completely fumbled 2 big chances that Trent created for him. And my goodness, like, if this is Trent's last season, he's showing out for sure. Like, I think this season Trent has been quite unfortunate. Like, he has created quite a big, chances for his teammates, but they just didn't convert. But now I think finally they start to convert those chances. And then you got Lewis Hall, keep on hauling, my big differential, like 12 points again. In the last 4 weeks, he's ended up with 42 or 48 points. That's ridiculous. He's basically Trent 2.0 now, like young Trent. Like, the way basically Newcastle plays is basically around him. Like, whenever they're taking set pieces or corners, it usually, comes back to him, and then he basically puts it in swinger into the box. Either Isak or someone like Joe Linton, gets towards the end of it and converts that chance. So Lewis Hall always has that attacking threat. He's been phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal. And obviously you got Enzo and Jackson. Big disappointment. The Chelsea boys ended up losing to Ipswich. That was a big shocker. Like, my differential was kind of Enzo. Like, he's only 12% owned. Like, I would have loved for him to return. I think Chelsea on his own, like, they were quite poor, like, overall as a team. Like, I don't want to slate too much in regards to, like, Jackson or Enzo, because ultimately Jackson was benched, and that's due to the manager. Like, the manager's playing too many games. I'm not a fan of Mariska changing things up. Like, he thought he could get away with one versus Ipswich. He underestimated them, and he learned his lesson. And hopefully, moving forward, he won't bench Jackson, because the team just doesn't function without him. And when he comes onto the pitch, he immediately had a big chance, but he just didn't convert, unfortunately. Look, Jackson, I think he's on thin ice. A lot of people are transferring him out. Personally, I still think he's a hold, but I think he's on thin ice, as I said. And I want to see him 1 or 2 more weeks. If he's still, underperforming, I'll most likely, sell him. But for now, he's a hold. And then finally, none other than your boy, Gabriel Jesus. Big differential, 9.7%. Came with a goal as well, an assist. I was kicking myself when Chris Wood had a goal and assist. I was thinking, what have I done? Because my dilemma was whether to go with Jesus or Chris Wood. If you guys watched my video in Game Week 18, I'm so pleased that he's got 2 returns, because that means I don't have to transfer him out. Ultimately, that actually buys me some time. And I think he's got really good fixtures coming up. So I'm really pleased with him. And I know a lot of people are going to buy him now, considering the fact that he returned. Although it was a bit of a jammy return, still will take it, because the goal that he scored, he came off the keeper and he rebounded in. So listen, I'm not complaining. The return is a return. We take it and we run away with it. Overall, big fat green arrow. Quite pleased with the team, but there are still some improvements that we could do. So let's move on to Game Week 20 transfer plans. So for Game Week 20, your boy is potentially looking at one of these transfers, which could include either Anderson or Castagna. I'm most likely leaning towards Castagna because there's a bit more attacking threat, because he does play a wing back role. Now, the fixtures are great. The next three is amazing, and he also rotates really well with Lewis Hall, who does play Tottenham away. And I do think he concedes versus Tottenham, because they love scoring goals, although they concede a lot. But it's just that Lewis Hall has been so good for me. I'm not really sure if this move is necessary for me. I have not confirmed this move, just to let you guys know. It's one of those moves I'm considering, but I'm not sure if I'll actually pull the trigger. It's just simply the fact that Lewis Hall has been exceptional and his fixtures are really good. Like after Tottenham, he plays Wolves, Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham. I could play him in every single one of those fixtures. So he's almost becoming a perma player now for me, considering the fact that he has the attacking threat. So even if he does end up conceding a goal, he can get an assist. Now, when you bring in Castagna, you're always going to have a benching dilemma because, for example, in Gameweek 21, you got Lewis Hall versus Wolves at home, and then you got Castagna versus West Ham away. Who do you start? So there could be that benching headache, but at the same time, he does provide me a bit of depth. There's another con, which is, is this a long-term option? Like, because we got to think about blank game week 29, you got to think about double game week 25. I'm going to need those transfers. I also might have other fives to put out, the likes of Enzo, the likes of Jackson, even Jesus could become a problem if he starts to underperform. And Foden might be a benching risk. So I'm not sure if I need to do this transfer. I'm most likely looking to roll. But if I do make a move this week, it will be to basically Burgess to Castagna. And that's about it. Let me know what you guys think, and let's move on to Game Week 20 team selection. So for Game Week 20, it's pretty straight up, pretty much the same lineup as last week. As I said, I have not made the transfer for Castagna. If I was to bring in Castagna, I'd most likely bench Lewis Hall, and I would start Castagna versus Ipswich. But as of currently, I'll be rolling. Your buzz, one free transfer in the bank. Squad value is I think around 105 or 104.9 million. It's pretty good to be fair. And then I got in the bank 0.5 million. The lineup is quite strong, I think, this week. Like, obviously, the glaring one is the double Arsenal defense away to Brighton, which is a good attack. But I still trust Arsenal defense to keep it clean in any fixture. And Gabriel always is the attacking threat. And Lewis Hall, as I already mentioned about him, like he's got an exceptional attacking threat and he's delivered like the last 4 weeks in a row. So I don't wanna basically play around with that pick. I just want to play him regardless of the fixtures. And then you got Trent, like one of the best defenders in the game, if not the best. Manchester United at home. Our team has been really poor. We've been in absolute shambles recently. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a double-digit haul in this fixture. And then in midfield, you got Mo, Palmer, Standard, and obviously Foden, my differential, as well as Enzo. Now, the issue is the captaincy. Like, a lot of people are thinking again this week, maybe not a lot of people, but some people thinking again, like, look, maybe we should look somewhere else, Salah's template, maybe we should, got a bit of differential and maybe catch up. Like, those who are actually trying to chase, I understand that. And the second best candidate for me, it will be Isak. However, at the same time, if to consider, Salah does get extra point for clean sheet. He does get extra point for goals scored. He does get he's more of a bonus point monster. Whereas for Isak, he doesn't have those things going for him. Like if Lewis Hall gets one attacking return, he might be on 3 bonus points compared to an Isak or Salah. So it's a bit of a risky one, but if you really wanted to be different and you were chasing and you wanted to hedge your bets versus Salah, I'd probably say Isak is more the second strongest candidate this week. But I wouldn't go there personally. Just put the captaincy on Salah. The guy is in insane form. What more can you say? Like he's like what 12 double digits on now. Every week he's basically just racking up this tally. So it is what it is. Foden, West Ham at home. He did come off early though. I think he had a bit of a knock, but I still didn't like the fact that he came off early, and he was quite upset when he was on the bench and when he got substituted. And McAtee came on, who looked good to be fair. Now there is a bit of maybe concern that Foden might get bench come versus West Ham. If he is benched, then I'm in a sticky situation. Maybe I consider taking him out for Gordon, but I really think that's maybe a sideways move, or I might just roll with it. I'm really not sure. I hope he's not benched. I really do need him to play this fixture and maybe deliver a big haul. And then obviously Enzo versus Palace away. I have to play him because Ahmad has Liverpool away. So I hope, my boy Enzo can, finally deliver. Palace are quite strong at home, to be fair. I'm playing triple Chelsea again. Like, they got to turn around their form. They've not been the best of their form recently. They lost 2 of their last 3 games and draw to Everton as well. So they're in a bit of a bad patch now. But maybe in the future, I might move one of my Chelsea attackers because I'm kind of tripled up on the attack. That might be overkill. So we'll see. Jackson, I don't think he's going to get benched anytime soon. So hopefully he delivers. And then you got my differential again, your boy Gabriel Jesus. He delivered big with 12 points last week. Brighton away, really good fixture for him for attackers. Maybe he can get another return or 2. And then finally, Isak, Mr. Consistent. Tottenham away, as I said, he's a captaincy shout, potentially a differential one. And I'm expecting big things from him too. On the bench, I got Fabianski, Ahmad, Burgess, and Greaves. They all have, to be honest, I guess there's a bit of a dilemma, you could say, whether to start Greaves ahead of Hall, but I wouldn't do that. Like, there's no shot. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. And let's move on to best Cunha replacement. So for best Cunha replacement, just a quick one. Shout out to FPL Harry. He did post this on Twitter, and that's where I got this graphic from. because it's really nice, and I really thought that I'll be able to summarize a lot of my points using these nice stats as well as these graphics. So shout out to him. You got Isak as the best replacement if you don't own him. I think Cunha to Isak is a no-brainer. And then Watkins is a little bit of a bit more punty and risky, but there is a great entry point when they have Leicester at home, followed up with two somewhat tough fixtures, I would say. Arsenal is a tough fixture for sure, and Everton are a bit unpredictable, especially where at home they could be very defensive. So I guess if you wanted to take a punt, maybe it's Watkins. But for me, the safest option is Isak, and it's going to be Wood. I would have those two as like number 1 or 2. If you have both of them and you have Cunha, then I would say the third best maybe either Jesus or Jackson. But again, Jesus is a punt, so is Jackson. But that's how I would rank it. Like obviously there are other options like Mateta, but I feel like when you have the likes of Sarr and Eze, I don't see the need for going to Mateta. Maybe if you were a guy that prioritizes penalty, which Mateta does have, but at the same time he does have a minutes risk with Nketiah. You never know when he's going to come in the lineup. And then you got your usual, of course, JP. He did end up getting 2 returns, one fluky assist, unfortunately. But look, if you want to go JP, this week is not the greatest entry point, but maybe next week. But obviously, you also have Raul Jimenez, but we talked about him enough. Like, he does have this minutes and rotation risk. But those 3 fixtures are quite tempting. You could go there, but it's super risky. Another one I want to give a shout out to is Wissa, who I do like, to be fair. If I was to not go for, if you didn't like the likes of Chris Wood or Jackson, then I'd probably consider Wissa as my 3rd most favorite after Jesus. So let me know what you guys think. Who would be the best Cunha replacement? As I said, personally for me, it would be Isak or Chris Wood. And then if you have both of them already, I'll probably say I'll go to Jesus. If not, maybe Jackson. And I think Jackson still could, do pretty well considering his fixtures. Palace, Bournemouth, and Wolves. They're quite good fixtures for attackers, to be honest. So let's move on to the next section, which is double Arsenal attack or double Arsenal defense. Which should you prioritize? So here you guys can see, the graphic with the best, I guess, Arsenal assets to own, like the nailed on assets. Like you got the likes of Raya, obviously, Timber, who is suspended for Gameweek 20, by the way. You got Saliba, Gabriel, Martinelli. I guess there's a bit of rotation risk with Martinelli as well as Jesus, but I do think they're quite nailed, as well as Havertz, who was sick, by the way, and did miss Gameweek 19. And you got Odegaard, who is, I guess, becoming a talisman now due to the fact that Saka is not there and he's on set pieces as well as pens. Speaking of set pieces, he did not take many, corners versus Brentford away. As you guys can see on the graphic from the sofa score I've obtained, where you can see his positioning, it's not been too great. Like, that's not what you want to see. You want to see him in the box a lot more and taking a couple of more shots. He's been a bit more, I guess, deeper role. Like, although he did play quite an advanced role versus Ipswich, I didn't like his positioning versus Brentford. He didn't get that many high XG shots. And you also had Ethan Unori taking the set piece as well. So I guess, like, if you already have him, you hold him. But I'm not sure if he's a buy. In terms of double Arsenal defense, like, I still think if you have double Arsenal defense, you don't sell them, you keep them. Like, if you look at the fixtures like Brighton and then followed up with Spurs and Villa are tough fixtures and they'll most likely concede. But at the same time, they're playing at home. I wouldn't be shocked if they keep it clean versus either one of Spurs or Villa. Brighton, they could also keep it clean. So I think if you're already doubled up on them, I think you keep them. Unless I think if you have the likes of, for example, Saliba and Gabriel, then I think you can sell Saliba. But if you have the likes of maybe Timber and Gabriel, potentially they keep. As well as if you have the combination of Timber and Raya or Gabriel and Raya, I think they're also a keep, because I can see some clean sheets, especially from game week 25 onwards, like Leicester, West Ham, Forest, United. There could be 4 clean sheets easily. I wouldn't recommend doing these sideways transfers just because they have a couple of tough fixtures, even though they are quite capable of keeping clean sheets in any fixture. And we saw that this season already. They kept a clean sheet versus Villa, they kept a clean sheet versus Spurs away, so they can do that. And Gabriel has too much attacking threat. So does Timber. So ultimately, I would say double Arsenal defense is still the priority compared to attack. And the attack isn't too great, especially when they lost their best player in Saka. So if I was to go for any attacker, I'd normally go for one and probably get double defense. If you want to triple up, in terms of best attackers, for me in midfield, it has to be Martinelli. And then in forwards, I'll probably go for, currently due to the form, it's Jesus. But long term, I would say still Havertz might be a better pick because he might be playing the 9 more often and he might get more minutes as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and if you are doubled up on attack as well as whether if you're doubled up on defense, let me know what your thoughts on it. Are you going to be moving off your double attack or defense? I personally recommend if you have the double defense, you keep. But yeah, let's move on to the best defensive rotation. So here you guys have it, like some of the best defenders. I think that rotates quite really well. Like if you already have the likes of Liverpool, like for example Trent and Gabriel, I think you define a 3rd and a 4th defender that rotates really well. And one rotation I found like really good, to be honest, is either Robinson or Castagna with Lewis Hall. Like if you can see in game week 20, like Lewis Hall plays Tottenham, and then you got Castagna / Robinson, they play Ipswich. in game week 21. Castagna plays West Ham away. They may be conceding in that fixture, so you play Hull. And then in game week 22, Castagna plays Leicester. You could bench Hull for Bournemouth at home. And then in game week 23, for example, Hull plays Southampton, and then you got Castagna playing United. So those do have quite a nice rotation. And you also could go for basically the likes of Munoz as well as Robinson, but you can choose whichever one you like. Also, the Forest boys, shout out to them. They've been keeping clean sheets left, right, and center. I also like them. If you could maybe rotate them with Lewis Hall or maybe Castagna, that's also a good option. Cucurella is there just simply because of his attacking threat, but I do not like Chelsea's defense. He does look and he does pass the eye test. It's just that I don't trust Sanchez at the back. I don't trust Colwell, Fofana, Badiashile, any of them. Now, ultimately, it's your choice. I do think that the best formation is to have is one Liverpool and obviously one Arsenal with Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, whoever you prefer. And then I'd say, for me personally, my personal favorite is Castagna and whole rotation. But you could also choose to go with Munoz and Robinson, who I think is also really strong. So yeah, let me know what rotation you guys have currently and which other defenders you're probably looking to buy. I do see the appeal in why people do want to move off double Arsenal defense though, because there are so many good options in the likes of Munoz, Hull, Milinkovic, Aina, and Robinson. So it does make sense why people want to move off. But I feel like if you own already a double, it's not worth the transfer. However, if you don't have the double Arsenal defense, I do think you don't need to basically force that right now. You could just have either Gabriel or Timber, and then you buy a Munoz, Robinson, and Aina, and you combine them and rotate them. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. And now let's move on to Game Week 20 wildcard draft. So here's my Game Week 20 wildcard draft, boys. Your boys got Castagna, Sales, Gabriel, and Trent at the back. Obviously, you also have Munoz and Hall, as I already said. Hall and Castagna rotates really well, and Munoz can come in any given game week. He's got long-term good fixtures. He could be a perma play if you wanted to. With this team, you could play 4 at the back for 4-4-2 or 4-3-2, depending on the tough fixtures for Jesus and Wood. So you can do a lot of rotations with this team. And also Sar, I mean, listen, if you don't like Sar, you can go with the likes of Rodgers, or you can go with the likes of Ahmad, whichever cheap midfielder you prefer. Ultimately, this team does provide a really good balance because you cover the Forest defense with Sales, you cover the Fulham defense with Castagna, you cover the Palace defense with Munoz, and you cover the Newcastle defense with Hull. And the pretty much given with Gabriel and Trent, you cover Liverpool and Arsenal. I do think this team does provide a really strong defensive cover, pretty much all the best defenders you have in the game. And in midfield, you have some of the strongest midfielders, the likes of Salah, Palmer, Mbemo, Gordon. And you only have one cheap midfielder in Sar, which I do think is quite strong. And you have quite a few penalty takers, like the likes of Isak, Ward, Palmer, Mbemo, Salah. So this squad is quite strong. I do like, though, the fact that there is Rodgers, from game week 21. I think his fixtures turn when he plays West Ham, Wolves, and I think Ipswich. So those fixtures are really good. But I feel like at that point, maybe if Sarr is not delivering, you could just switch from Sarr to Rodgers. Ultimately, this is the team I like currently. This week, the team does look really good on paper. Mbemo has great fixtures. Gordon, Isak, even Jesus. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who would you change from this wild card, whether you like it or not, or rate it out of 10? And then now let's move on to RobTFPL's projected goals as well as clean sheet odds for Game Week 20. So when I'm looking at this, guys, the first thing that stands out to me is the likes of City and Liverpool. They're projected to score, 2.75, both goals. That's almost 3 goals. So there's a lot of points to gain there. I see a lot of people, obviously, having triple Liverpool with whether they have Diaz and Salah and Trent, whether they have Jota, Salah and Trent. Those guys could cook for sure. And obviously City, if you went for the likes of KDB or Foden or even Haaland, they could cook as well. West Ham have been extremely leaky, so have been United. I think this week they could be high scoring, especially those who have gone a bit more, punty with the likes of Diaz and Foden. Another thing stands out for me is Arsenal. They still have pretty decent clean sheet odds. Brighton is a pretty good attack and they're playing away. And still they have 32% clean sheet odds. So I wouldn't be scared to play your double Arsenal defense. I know there's a lot of, talk about whether to bench one of the Arsenal defenders for the likes of Munoz, Robinson or Hall. I'd personally play them if I had 2 Arsenal defenders, whether it be Saliba and Gabriel or whether it be Gabriel or Raya. I wouldn't be too afraid. And then obviously if you're shopping for maybe other defenders from Fulham, basically they play Ipswich. You could buy the likes of Castagna this week or Robinson. Ipswich is a good fixture target. Although I do think Delap is in exceptional form, and I wouldn't be shocked if they scored versus Fulham. But at the same time, I do respect Fulham defense. And even if Robinson does concede, he always ends up with an attack and return. So you could buy them for sure. I also don't be afraid to start, Palace attackers, the likes of Mateta, Sarr, Eze. Chelsea are quite leaky at the back too. And if you look at Villa, those who have Watkins, my goodness, they're going to be eating 2.5, I guess almost 3 goals as well. So Watkins, I guess a bit of a differential captaincy shout. But without Rodgers, I wouldn't do that, to be fair. But if you have them, you're going to be eating. I know Roger is suspended for game week 20, but if people had him, my goodness, he would have been eating. And I would have personally bought him in my team for Enzo if he was available for this fixture, because Leicester are by far one of the worst defenders in the league. And then you got Tottenham versus Newcastle. That could be high scoring as well, guys. Like recently, like Newcastle have been in insane form, and Tottenham basically missing every single one of their centre backs, left back, right back. They're basically playing guys out from their academy in the starting 11. So that game could be insanely high scoring. And if you have the likes of Gordon, Isak, Cole, I can see all of them fisting, to be fair. So yeah, that'll be it for Game Week 20, boys. We covered so much. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to see you guys next week. Peace out.